Hello, it's Karen Burniston here with my monthly designer challenge video. For the theme this month, we are featuring food in our cards, and I am making a Christmas cookies card. I will be showing how you can reverse the folds of the Cascade Pop-up, and that will make it pop up on the left side of the card. So these are the 4 dies and the stamp set that I used. Cascade Pop-up, Square Cascade Add-ons, Baking Charms, Dessert Elements, and then the Christmas Wishes clear stamps. Okay, I've already put together a plate of finished cookies out of the dessert elements, but let me show a couple of tricks for doing that. There are 4 dies that are the larger version of those cookies, and so those are the ones that I just cut out of the craft cardstock and hit the edges with a little bit of brown ink. And then for the star, Christmas tree, and round cookies, there is a built-in stencil emboss feature. So I like to just use double-sided adhesive tape on the back of my cardstock before die cutting. That not only makes the overlay a sticker, which makes it easy to add to the background, but it also pushes that paper up through the die. So it makes it just a little bit easier to take the ink through those really small holes on the Christmas tree and the star, and then makes it easier to stencil with a pen for the sprinkles that are on the round cookie. And I decided to tone down the white sprinkles by adding some red ink, especially since I was going to be piping that cookie. I cut the plate out of silver mirror cardstock again with some double-sided adhesive on the back. And now I want to make that cookie sheet look more aged. And so I can just do that with some black acrylic paint, or in my case, I had a little bit of StazOn black glaze. So anything you've got like that that can be kind of used with a rag to sponge onto the silver and then just let it dry. The slice of pie die out of the dessert elements makes a great piping bag. So I cut it out of white and silver, cut just the tip off of the silver one, hit the edges with a little brown ink, and then use the icing squiggle coming out the end. All right, so my concept here is the lowest level is going to be the cookies coming out of the oven. The second level is going to be the cookies being frosted, and then the upper level is the completed plate of cookies. So I went ahead and got my whole cookie plate ready for the upper level because that one can just be glued on. But the second level, that's the one where I need a slot in my square to weave it onto the pop-up. So I'm switching to the Square Cascade Add-ons now, and I'm using the square that has the slot. And then I just want to make sure that it is completely centered over my square plate. So by making sure that I centered the die, then I know that when I eventually glue this plate to one of those slotted squares, I'll get that perfect border around the outside with the slots lined up. Now I can start adding all of my cookies and my piping bag to that plate. It's kind of acting as a cutting board. That's the way I think of that center one, as almost like a cutting board. And what I wanted was a mixture of fully decorated cookies as well as some that still hadn't been decorated. And then I just need to make sure that I avoided the slot. All right, so then for the ones where the cookies are in the oven or they've just come out of the oven, I've got my spatula. I'm going to glue my round cookie to that spatula. So the spatula came out of the baking charms. But I'm going to set those pieces aside and I'll assemble on the pop-up. You choose your card size, but for the Square Cascade add-ons, you do need a width that is at least 5 inches when closed. So I decided on a 5.5 by 5 landscape card. So I started with a piece of cardstock, 11 inches wide, 5 inches tall, scored it in the middle for folding. And then to that, I just went stash diving, found a cool piece of plaid paper, and wallpapered the inside. The pop-up die I'm using is the Cascade Pop-up. Now I'm only going to end up using the 2 mechanism pieces out of that die set, and because I am planning on reversing the folds, I'm going to cut it through the back side of this bling cardstock. One of the things that is shown in the assembly video for the Cascade Pop-up is how you can mark through the dies before you remove the paper to show you where the adhesive goes. Now we're going to be reversing the fold. So on this small mechanism, I can put it through the tapered tab and put a little X on that. But on the other one, I need to do the reverse of what I would normally do. So normally I would put the X's out here, but this time I'm going to put it just in the center. And then the 3 outside openings, the X is going to go on the back, so on the bling side. So in the 2 tapered tabs and then the outer tab out here. And that is because I am reversing this so that it is installed on the left side of the card. I'm going to start on the side where I can see the folds the easiest, and I'm going to fold it initially in the normal manner as if I were installing it on the right side of the card. And those folds are, starting at the left, mountain, mountain, and then valley, valley. Then I've got two platforms on the right. My upper one, the longer one, has two valley folds. The lower one has three mountain folds. So let me just start doing that now. We've got here on the left, we've got mountain, mountain. Then I've got valley, valley. Up here, I've got valley, valley. Down here, I've got mountain, mountain, mountain. Okay, but I want to reverse it. So now I'm going to turn it over to the bling side and then just reverse all of the folds so that on the bling side, it still goes mountain, mountain, valley, 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 valley on the longer one, mountains on the shorter one. But now it is basically mirror imaged so that it can be installed so that the pop-up part is on the left panel of the card. All right, so just two folds in the other platform. They're both mountain folds. There's a tapered tab on one end that has an X on it. And then on the other end, there is a wiggle tab. So with a wiggle tab, you just kind of bend it a little bit so that it matches the shape of the slot. And then you are able to actually just wiggle it through the slot. So notice where I am. In my case, I'm coming from underneath the piece. So I'm going through the smooth side of my cardstock since I was doing bling. Okay, so here on the bling, the pretty side of the cardstock, I should see just the little wiggle tab and the whole platform is underneath it. I'm going to measure 5/8 of an inch off of the top edge of the card. I've already figured out that that's the spot where if I install the cascade at that spot, all three of the squares will stay in the card in the closed position. All right, so I'm going to add adhesive to my lower X panel, so that's the big panel. And then I need to flip that over the fold. And I'm going to install that so that the top edge of the pop-up is on my 5/8 of an inch line and that the edge is aligned with the fold but not crossing it. All right, time to find the flat position. So I fold here, okay, then I fold at the next one I come to, which is this one. All right, now I've got to work with these two small platforms. And in both cases, it's the tapered tab and one panel that is up and then one panel is down. So just arrange it so the tapered tab and one panel is up. Just like this, you'll see all three X's. All right, so now I'm going to put my glue on my three X panels. So the little tapered tabs and this big panel here. So the three panels that I marked with an X at the beginning are all going to get adhesive at the same time. And then now I need to keep that flat and close the card. So flatten that out, keep it nice and flat, close the card against that exposed adhesive. And that's going to pick up those tabs and move them over to the left panel of the card. All right, so here it is. Now only half of the pop-up is working right now. I've glued these three panels down, this one and the two tapered tabs that are underneath, but I need to do work on that center square before I can finish the complete assembly of the pop-up. Back to my Square Cascade add-ons where I've cut two large solid squares and then one large slotted square. And with the slotted square, I just need to make sure that the slots line up completely when I'm sticking my center plate or cutting board, I guess I think of it as a cutting board, to the square. And my finished plate of cookies is also a sticker, so I can just peel up the liner on that and stick that to my red square. With my center square, I need to get the pop-up through the slot. And then I can slide that all the way down until it's sitting on that box underneath. So the flat position will be something like this. You can see I have plenty of room for it. The piping bag isn't sticking out of the card. Everything looks great. So now I can take that off for a second and then add my adhesive on top of the box. So there's my adhesive there on top of that box. Slide that back through again, all the way down until it's sitting on that box. And I can kind of attach it in this flat position. And that way I can make sure that the slot is kind of centered, you know, that I have an equal amount on either side. And then now when I pick up that platform, it's going to bring that center square up. So adhesive on the tapered tab on that X, the last X tab that I have, And then now I just need to fold it over the edge and attach it to the other side of the pop-up. All right, so giving that a pinch, and now I have the pop-up completed, and I just have to add my squares to the upper platform and the lower platform. So for the upper square, I can kind of just choose my location so that I get a pleasing kind of cascade look to the two squares. I do have to watch that it stays in the card. So I'm going to add the glue to the top of the platform. I'm going to press it on there, but not too solid because I want to check the location. And as you see, yep, it's way sticking out. So that means I need to lower it and change the angle a little bit. So lower, tilt it to the right, and now it stays in. And then the lower square is going to get my cookie sheet. So it is also a sticker. So I peel up the liner and get that centered over that pink cardstock square. And then to add it to the pop-up, I just need to add adhesive on top of the lower box. So just going in there and adding some glue to the top of the box, right there. Okay, and once again, I'm going to choose my location based on kind of getting a pleasing cascade. So sort of matching the curve and the overlap of the upper two. And then I just got it, well, I obviously have to get it to stick there first. So going in and pinching it on there. Okay, and then once I can get it to set, then I can give it a really good press in the closed position. And now I can add my elements to the cookie sheet, just paying attention to the handle of the spatula so that it stays in the card when the card is closed. And then the other three cookies, I just need to arrange them onto the cookie sheet. And I love this progression of the cookie from cookie sheet to decorating to plate of finished cookies. All right, so next I'm going to decorate this right side of the pop-up. So that is a surface that you can decorate if you like. I'm going to add a couple of baking charms. There is a lot of motion to this pop-up as it opens and closes, so just make sure as you're adding items that you're checking their location and making sure that they are not creating any catch points. I die cut the stitched square out of the Square Cascade Add-ons out of a Post-it note and then hinged the die in place. And that is because I want to use this May Your Christmas Be Full of Magic and Cookies stamp from our Christmas Wishes clear stamp set, and it is going to barely fit in that square. I'm using my VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which is my very favorite for stamping these greetings. And here is my greeting now. May your Christmas be full of magic, parentheses, and cookies. And now I can use that hinged die, take my Post-it note, and surround my stamp. And then I can figure out exactly where I want that to be cut out. I decided to skew it more towards the top rather than center it top to bottom. And then since that's a Post-it note, it's just going to stick in place, hinge my die right back into position again, and run that through my machine. So that's just a way for me to get that perfect placement of my stamp within my square. Within the Square Cascade add-ons, there is a large square postage stamp and then there's a rectangle postage stamp. But what I wanted was a small square postage stamp. So to achieve that, I first cut the rectangle postage stamp. Then I took the die, turned the die cut into it 90 degrees, and lined it up again with the edges. And then when I cut that bottom edge, I want to make sure that my cutting pad covers just the bottom edge. So I'm not trying to run the entire die through, I'm just trying to cut the edge that I need. And then what that'll do is it will shorten that rectangle into a square. And then for some extra perimeter decoration, I'm going to take the small square plate out of the dessert elements and I'm going to stick that new square postage stamp inside and run it through. It's just a little bit smaller than the square. So all I'm going to achieve with this is the emboss. So since I have the double-sided adhesive tape on the back, it's just going to push that paper up through that die and give me that interesting embossed texture on the outside of my postage stamp. And then I can stick that onto that stitched square and then add a little small square of white and a heart. And now I have a place to sign the card. Okay, so now I just need to take all of those embellishments that I created and glue them inside the card to finish out the interior. To balance the weight of the card, especially because it opens up fully flat, I'm going to add a panel of paper to the back of the card. And then the panel for the front of the card, I'll use that to actually construct the front on it, then glue it to the front of the card. This was not a fast process because it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. But then I figured, hey, wouldn't it be fun to show sort of the evolution of a Christmas cookie? So the front of the card would show it in dough form. All right, so let me clean up this mess on my desk and then I'll go over a couple of the techniques that I used for these pieces. The first technique I'll show is how I turned an embossed square into an embossed rectangle. So for this one, I am going to recommend that you use the double-sided tape on the back. Normally, I would say, well, you could also just use an embossing sandwich in your machine, but because of the two-step process of this, you really just want the tape on there to kind of give you that emboss as part of the process. All right, so here is my embossed square, and then I want to turn that into a rectangle, and I'm going to use this rectangular postage stamp just as a guide for where to place the bottom edge of that square to turn it into a rectangle. And I'm just wiggling it around until the grooves line up. And then the only thing I'm looking to cut is that bottom edge. I want to cut it and emboss it, so I need to have the cutting pad go over that bottom whole section of the die only. And then now I'm going to have that embossed rectangle. The star and the Christmas tree are the best suited for this technique of making cookie cutters. Start by cutting the frosting piece, so the smaller of the two dies, out of silver cardstock, and just make sure that you have a little bit of space around the opening on the silver cardstock. All right, the same Post-it technique that was used to frame the greeting is what I'm going to use to cut now the larger of the two dies around that opening. So I just hinge the die out of the way, take my Post-it note, place it on there until I can see silver all the way around the interior edge. Then I flop the die back into place, move it onto my machine, and cut it. It's going to be a very thin piece, so you'll probably need your tweezers to get it out of the die, but then you'll have that very cool cookie cutter. And like I said, the Christmas tree and the star work the best for that. Okay, I glued all of my pieces to that panel, and now I can glue the finished panel to the front of the card. And I just love how this turned out, with the progression of the cookie from the dough all the way to the finished plate of decorated cookies. My finished card is a 5 by 5.5, so I'll use an A7 envelope for this one. As always with these Designer Challenge videos, please think about the techniques and how you might adapt them to other themes. So this is the evolution of a Christmas cookie, but the technique itself of reversing the Cascade Pop-up so that it pops up on the left side of the card, of using it in conjunction with the Square Cascade Add-ons, that is a very generic look that could be decorated for absolutely any theme. And please do check the description box below this YouTube video for a link to the blog post. On the blog post, you will find photographs of my cards, supply links, and links to all of the wonderful food inspiration by our very talented design team. Thanks for watching. If you click on the website link, you'll go to KarenBerniston.com, where you can purchase these products as well as find links to our other social media accounts. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out some of my other videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.